Welcome back everyone to another exciting video where we talk about rare and valuable coins that could be sitting right in your pocket change without you even realizing it. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins in American numismatic history, the 1960 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. This little copper coin might look ordinary to most people, but what if I told you that one rare variety of this penny has been sold for as much as $92,000? That's right, a single cent that can be worth more than a luxury car or even a small house. So grab your coin jar, because after watching this video, you might want to start searching your spare change. Let's start with a bit of background on this incredible coin. The 1960 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, marked by the small letter D under the year on the obverse side of the coin. It features the classic design of Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, created by Victor David Brenner back in 1909, and the words, "In God We Trust," above his head, Liberty, to the left, and the date to the right. On the reverse side, you'll see the familiar design that reads, United States of America, and E Pluribus Unum, with two wheat stalks surrounding the words, 1 cent. This wheat-back design had already been replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design starting in 1959. But the 1960 coins were still fresh in that new memorial era, representing a time of change in U.S. coinage history. Now, here's where things get really interesting. In 1960, both the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced two major date varieties of the Lincoln cent, a small date and a large date version. These varieties exist because of minor differences in the size and style of the numerals used in the date on the die. The Denver mint, marked by the D, struck both small date and large date versions, but the small date 1960 D pennies are significantly rarer and more sought after by collectors today. The difference might be tiny to the naked eye, but it has made a world of difference in the coin's value over the years. So what exactly is the difference between the small date and large date versions? If you look closely at the number 6 in the date, the small date variety has a higher and thinner 6, while the large date version's 6 sits lower and appears thicker and more rounded. The 0 in the date also appears smaller and sits slightly higher in the small date version. It might sound subtle, but coin collectors are known for their keen eyes, and these small details can make one penny worth thousands of times more than another that looks nearly identical. The 1960 D small date penny has fascinated collectors for decades because it's not just a variety. It also has famous errors and transitional anomalies that make certain examples incredibly rare. In fact, the most valuable versions are those with strong mint luster, sharp details, and pristine conditions graded as mint state or proof-like by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. In high mint state conditions, especially those graded MS67 and higher, these coins can reach values in the tens of thousands of dollars. The record-setting examples, with flawless surfaces and original luster, have sold for over $90,000 in private auctions. Now let's talk about what caused these variations and why they exist. During 1960, the U.S. Mint was adjusting the design of the Lincoln cent due to issues with die wear and the appearance of the date. The Mint created multiple hubs with different date sizes, and as a result, both small date and large date dies were used interchangeably, especially at the Denver Mint. When the small date version was released into circulation, very few people noticed the difference. It wasn't until collectors began carefully comparing coins that they realized the small date was not only different but also much scarcer. Adding to the mystery and excitement of the 1960 D Lincoln cent is the existence of an extremely famous double die variety known as the 1960 D over D small date over large date penny. This error occurs when one die was punched twice with different date sizes, resulting in a visible overlapping effect under magnification. This specific variety is one of the most famous double die varieties of the entire Lincoln cent series. You can actually see traces of the larger date underneath the smaller date on the coin, especially around the numbers 1 and 9. These overdate errors are incredibly rare, and collectors go crazy when one appears on the market. The combination of being a small date, a Denver Mint coin, and having an overdate or double die variety makes this penny one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents you could ever find. Coins like these, in pristine uncirculated condition, have fetched eye-popping prices from serious collectors who are willing to pay nearly $100,000 for a perfect example. But what does condition really mean when it comes to coin collecting? Condition, or grade, is everything. A circulated 1960 penny with a small date might still only be worth a few dollars, but if it's in uncirculated condition, with its original red luster and no signs of wear, its value increases dramatically. Professional grading services use a scale from 1 to 70, called the Sheldon scale, to measure a coin's condition. A coin graded MS-60 is uncirculated but might have minor blemishes or dull luster, while an MS-67 or MS-68 coin is nearly perfect, with strong shine and almost no marks visible even under magnification. Those are the types of coins that can sell for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Now, let's look at how these coins have performed in the collector market over time. Back in the 1970s and 1980s, coin collecting was already popular, but it was in the early 2000s that the value of rare varieties like the 1960 small date began to surge. As more collectors started looking for specific varieties and era coins, demand increased dramatically. Auction records show that coins graded MS-67 red have sold for upwards of $20,000 to $30,000, and the finest known examples, graded MS-68 red, have achieved record-breaking prices nearing the $90,000 mark. Even mid-range uncirculated coins can fetch several $1,000s today, and it's not just about the small date versus large date varieties. The 1960 penny also has other notable errors that can make them valuable. Some examples include repunched mint marks, where the D was stamped more than once, creating a doubled appearance, or die cracks and die chips that appear as raised lines or bumps on the coin. These errors add character and uniqueness, and collectors love finding them because they often indicate the coin was struck under unusual conditions at the mint. A strong repunched mint mark or doubled die can turn a regular cent into a collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So how can you tell if you have one of these valuable 1960 Lincoln pennies in your collection? Start by looking at the date closely with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Compare the shape and size of the numbers, especially the 6 and the 0. If the 6 appears high and the 0 small and elevated, you may have a small date variety. Next, check the area around the D mint mark. If you see any doubling or shadowing effects, you might be looking at a D over D variety. Finally, examine the coin's condition. Bright, shiny coins with full original color and no visible wear are always more valuable. If you think your coin might be special, it's a great idea to have it professionally graded. Many collectors today actively search coin rolls, old penny jars, and bank boxes hoping to find one of these rare 1960 small date pennies. And believe it or not, discoveries are still happening. Because so many people overlook small date and double die varieties, it's entirely possible that some of these treasures are still out there waiting to be found in circulation or in someone's forgotten collection. With patience, sharp eyes, and a bit of luck, you might uncover a coin that changes your life. It's also worth noting that the 1960 penny represents an important part of U.S. mint history. It was produced during a time when coin production was transitioning from old manual processes to more modern machinery. That shift sometimes led to inconsistent die preparation and striking errors, which is exactly why we have these unique varieties today. So every one of these coins tells a small story about the evolution of coin making in America. Now let's talk about investment potential. Rare Lincoln cents, especially key varieties like the 1960 small date, have shown consistent value growth over the past few decades. Collectors value them not only for their rarity but also for their historical significance and the challenge of finding pristine examples. A well-preserved 1960 small date penny can be a strong long-term investment, especially if it's graded and certified by a top-tier service.